Today I fucked up by making myself into the batsh creep of the apartment block. I move around with work a lot and ended up going to Germany for a few years to work there. I turn up not knowing anyone and start to get a bit lonely. So after a couple of weeks of sitting alone in my apartment, I decide to put myself out there and start going out to bars on my own to speak to people and maybe make some friends. I was that weird guy that would sit alone at the bar and try and talk to anyone. Anyway, after a few days of doing this, I just met a group of lads who took me under their wing and I tagged on to their group for the night. It turned into a messy all-nighter, and fast forward to the end of the night and it's 4 a.m. and I am seriously buzzed and shit-faced drunk. At this point I stagger back to my apartment complex that I've only lived in for a couple of weeks and get to my apartment door and it just won't open. I almost break the key off trying to get in and then think I might have the wrong apartment, so I try all of the doors on the right side of the hallway on each floor. There is only one door on the right and 4 floors. None of them work. So I decide to sleep in the hallway, but it's absolutely freezing and has a stone marble floor that is like sleeping on an ice sheet. I'm shivering and can't get comfy despite being wasted, so I decide to walk out and try and find something soft to sleep on. I stagger round a few shops but everywhere is closed. It's 4 a.m. Duh. And the only place that I can find is a 24H gas station. I walk inside and start frantically looking for anything soft or warm, but they literally only sell drinks, a bit of food and car parts. But then I had a light bulb moment. I saw all the bread laid out on a counter for the following morning. I buy up as much sliced bread, toast brat, as I can carry, like 10 bags or something, and walk back to my apartment with it all bundled in my arms. I get back home and decide that it's best if I sleep across my doorway so I am not in the way of anyone else, and I start to unwrap all the bread and lay out the slices next to each other as a makeshift bed. I manage to make a bread bed like an improvised sleeping mat about 3 slices deep. By this point I am starting to come down and I'm exhausted, so just flop onto my newly made bread bed, all proud of myself, and fall asleep. I manage to sleep maybe 2 or 3 hours until I am woken up by some keys jangling and some motion. At this point, I am still pretty mashed and groggily open my eyes to see my German neighbor open her door. The door I am lying across on my bread bed. And just stand there in the doorway with her 7-year-old kid, just trying to process the scene. Turns out I made my bread bed 1 floor higher than I should have, and she has now gone to take her kid to school and found a half-wasted dude lying across her apartment door, presenting himself to her on an altar of squashed bread. I get that, oh shit moment, and jump up, fall over and start to scoop up all the squashed bread. She just closes the door. I gather up all of my bread bed, but it's too much to carry, so I have to fill my jacket with it to carry it all to the bins. I walk downstairs with all the bread balled up in my jacket and pass my other downstairs neighbor who is heading out to work. He smiles at me and then double takes as he notices that I look like shit and I am hugging what looks like a boulder of squashed bread. I dump the boulder in the bin and sheepishly walk back to my apartment. The key works first time. FML. Too long did not read. Got buzzed and wasted. Couldn't get into apartment and became Urban Bear Grylls making a bed out of bread, and falling asleep in it outside my neighbor's door. Wrong door. Now I am shunned in German. Make sure you clean upstairs where your bread bed was, sweep up crumbs, etc. Important to clean up after yourself. Apology note to neighbor mom. Maybe put something on your door, sticker, ornament, decoration, that will let drunk you know the right door late. I lost it at. I gather up all my bread bed. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. Edit. SP. Don't worry, I'm sure they've seen worst. That bread bed idea. Lol. Musical notes. I wake up in the morning. And I raise my hungover head. I got an old coat for a pillow. And the earth was 10 loaves of bread. I couldn't find my apartment. Only God knew where I'd sleep. Now it's the walk of shame. No one to blame. They call me batsh creep. Tears of joy. I'm assuming you're British. Come home Bruva. We are the only ones that tolerate and celebrate that kind of wreckhead behavior. Today I fucked up. I gained so much weight at my fast food job I got fired. I, 24F, started working at a fast food place about 4 years ago. I became friends with the owner, manager, and we'd eat lunch together. It was policy that we could take food to have on our lunch, but once we were friends he'd say I could have more. We got on so well that I started staying after closing and he'd pull out some leftover stuff for me to have and we sit there talking while I ate. He always said I had a healthy appetite and needed plenty of food. Honestly, it got to the point where I was eating a couple of persons worth of fast food at lunch and then twice that again after work. As you can imagine, I started gaining significant weight. I'd guess I was about 250 pounds when I started there, and I got weighed recently and I was 515 pounds. It was actually ages ago I started to struggle with being on my feet. The owner would let me take breaks and sit down, but it's now at the point I can't stand for more than about 20 millines at a time. Obviously, I became quite a bad employee and it was making it hard for him allowing me to get away with so much. But I don't even think that's why he fired me. I think he was trying to look out for me. There have been a few incidents related to my weight that have made me cry in his office, and I think he feels like he needs to do something. So basically I took a nice gesture and fucked it up so badly that I unemployed and so fat I am actually struggling to walk. Too long did not read. I have been binge eating fast food for 4 years now. My manager fired me out of pity to try and stop me getting any bigger. Go make friends with a gym owner. I hope you can get back into a healthy lifestyle and thank your friend. Everyone is giving a lot of good advice, but I used to weigh 400 plus and have lost 200. Please seek counseling. It is indeed an addiction, and until you work through why you're using food as such, dieting and exercise will go only as far as your daily motivation. Food becomes less important when you put yourself first. Edit. Forgot a comma and thanks for the awards lol. Start with seated exercises. Lifting your arms over your head, jumping jacks style. Before you follow any of the advice on here, please first see your doctor. Let him run some tests. You don't want to be blindly dieting or exercising and then one day have a heart attack. Seeing a doctor is the whole of the law. Usually people don't make any meaningful change until they hit a very low point. Today's "today I fucked up" can be tomorrow's success story where it all started with. This reads suspiciously like a thinly veiled, okay, maybe not thinly, feeder fetish story. Today I fucked up by selling my GF's dog without her knowing. I know the title makes me sound horrible, but please hear me out. Also, something you should know is my girlfriend has diagnosed anxiety. This will be important later. Me, M29, and my girlfriend, F27, moved in together about 6 months ago. She only makes about $12,000 a year at her lower paying job, so I paid most of the bills. This arrangement worked and I didn't mind contributing that much. However, 4 months ago I lost my job. We have no savings and this was a devastating blow, and I have not been able to get new employment. We missed rent and received our 30-day eviction notice. My girlfriend's response to this was to shut down, and her anxiety became debilitating. So I had to do all the apartment hunting alone. Keep in mind I had to do all this on a very restrictive budget, and on a time restraint because of the eviction. I don't have any family as I was raised in the foster care system, and my girlfriend's family couldn't help us because of unfortunate personal circumstances, which I completely understand, but it's still frustrating. In the end I found only one apartment within our budget, but it didn't allow dogs. This meant that I would have to find a home for our dog Augie. I asked our few friends to take him in, but we don't have many, and since we live in a city their apartments also don't allow dogs. Please keep in mind I had been providing my girlfriend with regular updates and she was well aware of the situation. So I texted my girlfriend a week before the eviction and told her that I put a deposit down on the apartment. The messages go as follows. Me. I put a deposit down. We need to think about finding a home for Augie. Her. I don't want to think about this right now, it's just all too much. Me. I know it's a lot, but no one can take him in. I've tried everything, could we please reconsider selling him? Her. Absolutely not. We had numerous other conversations about this before I finally realized she wasn't in a stable state of mind and that I had to do something now or we were going to be homeless. So I found a family with young kids who I knew Agui would love. I visited their house to make sure it was a good fit. The meeting went wonderful, they even had a backyard and a dog park down the street. I knew he would be happy. So Augie and I traveled to their house multiple times over the next few days to get him adjusted. On the final day I said goodbye to him. I didn't tell my girlfriend I was doing this because I knew she would stop me. The family agreed to let us visit whenever we wanted, so I knew she would get to see him. Please note this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I was in just as much pain as her, I was just able to manage it better. When I got home I broke the news to her and she instantly broke down. We moved into the new apartment and she's been crying for days. I feel terrible. Edit. Here are some basic questions answered. 1. We do not live in the U.S. State laws do not apply to us. Also where we live has a high rate of certain crimes and this is why it would be so dangerous for her to be on her streets. 2. I am not currently living in the apartment. I used the last of my income to put down the deposit and gave it to her. At the moment I am homeless and giving her time to grieve. 3. This isn't an answer to a question but a repeat. She can see the dog whenever she wants but she has to give 24 hours notice. 4. Augie most likely would have passed if I didn't do this because her work involves her computer, and if she can't use it, because of homelessness, she would lose her income and we wouldn't be able to afford to feed him. 5. The dog was the offspring of her childhood dog. Augie is currently 4 and I've known him since he was 2. This is why she is so close to him. 6. The reason I couldn't get a job for 4 months is because we live in a very poor country, with a bad economy. 7. Please stop harassing me in the comments. I know I'm an asshole, guys. I'm a person too and I've had a lot going on, and I'm also grieving. Just try and be mindful. Thank you. Too long did not read. My girlfriend and I are getting evicted. We don't have money for anything but an apartment that doesn't allow dogs, so I sold her dog because she wouldn't help me. You were placed in a position where no one wins, and no one won. I'm sorry. This feels more like an unfortunate necessity than a fuck up. My ex-husband dropped my dog off in the middle of the woods against my wishes, so at least you didn't do that. Sorry, it just really hurts and this reminds me of that in a sense. I think you probably both need therapy. This isn't an insult, just a statement. If she's not already on anything, your girlfriend needs medication. Dog custody is never easy. I won't say you had the best course of actions, but it was a hard decision under very dire circumstances and you did what you had to and followed through. My girlfriend is a dog trainer and I often read posts like this to her to see what she says. All I got from it was, damn, I'm glad that you were brave and followed through. You didn't F up. As painful as the decision was, it was the right thing to do. A happy life for the dog and you and your partner not ending up homeless. It hurts of course, but it was the best choice regarding the situation. I think you handled it well. Today I fucked up by smacking my spouse in the face with my boob. Not sure if this is not safe for work, but going to mark it as just in case. This happened maybe 20 minutes ago. I am a well-endowed woman and because of this they often get in the way. I can't be bothered to wear clothes to bed, so my boobs are doing their own thing. The word perky does not apply to them whatsoever. Now to my sleepy unsuspecting spouse. She was laying in bed closer to my side because that's where the cats jumped up for bedtime scratchies. I walk into the room and give the fluff some love and shift them to the other side so I can get into bed. I'd hurt my foot recently, so wanting to quickly get off my feet I sort of jump into bed using my good foot to propel myself. It works and I'm no longer putting pressure on my bad foot, but my boob ends up coming straight down on my wife's face and smashes her glasses against her face in the process. She thought I had elbowed her in the face. I've now got to wait until morning to see if I've given her a black eye. TLDR. Big boobs, hurt my foot recently. Boobs were free balling. Wife on my side of bed. I hurry to get into bed to get off my foot and end up smacking my wife in the face with my boob. Edit. Someone reported me to the Reddit care resources. That's very kind of you to worry about me, but thankfully I need a breast reduction and not a visit to a psychologist. Edit 2. My wife doesn't sleep with glasses on. Before going to sleep we watch something funny and cuddle. Then her glasses have a spot they go that's within reach without getting out of the bed when we're actually ready to go to sleep. If I got punched in the face by a titty, I'd be bragging. The black eye would be a nice battle mark. On the upside, boobies in her face. Oh, so when my mom told me to be careful when going topless, so I didn't poke someone's eye out, she was being serious. All I read was, blessed wife is graced by wife's presence. You kinda worded it differently though. Boobs to the face equals a good day person shrugging medium light skin tone male sign person shrugging medium light skin tone male sign. Please update about the black eye. I can think of worse ways to get beat up, though.